He's Frank Caliendo performing at Ridgefield Playhouse in Ridgefield, Connecticut tonight. The Casino Ballroom in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire on Saturday. Got performances in Las Vegas and Charlotte, Atlanta. Go to frankonstage.com for more information. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah?
Feeling good.
What's the smallest crowd you ever played to?
Back in probably around 99 and 98, there were probably times where I would perform in front of like 2 or 3 people. You know, it sounds, and with Charles Barkley, it sounds terrible. And it really is. I mean, it would be. You go to colleges, and they put you up during lunch show. So they'd turn off the TV at lunch, and then people would watch you just bomb.
Were they angry that they were turning off TV?
Oh, yeah, because they would have like Sports Center on or something like that. Everybody want to be watching the sports highlights.
Yeah.
They'd turn that off, and they're like, we have a comedian today? Boo. And then you're in the middle of your act, and I'm like, and how about that John Madden, huh? And people are like, I want my lunch. Number 47, your meatloaf is ready. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But I mean, we would do clubs. Sometimes when we would do the comedy clubs, you travel around in groups, go to different cities and stuff like that when you're first starting out to do like open mic kinds of stuff. Yeah. And you could go on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and you get to the club and they say, we don't have a big crowd tonight. And you're like, what? And they're like, we got 2 people or 4 people. I'm like, well, how many do you need to do a show? 6. And you're like, so if it's less than 6, you don't do the show, right? And they're like, yeah. And then 2 people show up, and it is 6, and you're like,
So then you have to do it.
So then you do it, but 6 people in a room that seats 250 people, they feel like they went to the wrong show. Like, why are we here?
Do you adjust accordingly to how many people are there?
Well, I don't think you're picking on the crowd much because you can walk them
individually.
Yeah, I think.
But do you use all your good stuff if there's only 6 people?
Yeah, I mean,
there?
you're working on stuff at the time, anyways. But it's one of those things where you don't expect you have to do it almost more conversation. One time, a club owner got mad at me because I put the mic down and just talked to them. I'm like, well, it's weird to be holding the mic. It's like getting a machine at your house, a karaoke machine. Instead of singing, you just hold the microphone and you talk to your friends. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel right.
Did you ever? Last time you followed somebody who just killed and you had to follow them?
That's a good question. I don't. Maybe in Canada, and it was right before Dane Cook broke. Yeah, it was probably that. I had to go do that. And I was like, what just happened? And then I'm doing like American culture impressions in Canada. And I remember my manager at the time told me, don't do the Norm Macdonald, because I used to do a Norm Macdonald, who needs a punchline when you have the word crack whore? And that was the joke. And he's like, don't do it like that. I'm like, but that's a set-up punchline joke. It's not, it'll work. And so I just went, it was okay, but I try to put myself in situations where that doesn't happen.
But did you know Dane Cook was like ready to burst onto the scene?
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole thing where we were managed by the same person. So we were like going back and forth. I'm like, why don't I go before Dane? I was just doing that. And then Dane didn't really want to go before me. He's like, well, Frank's already got a deal to do a TV show. He was right. I'm just a wimp. I mean, a lot of people like that kind of stuff. They want to go try and one up the last guy. I'd rather go first. Steve Harvey did it the greatest when they went on tour with Kings of Comedy. When they went on tour, Steve Harvey hosted, because that's the smartest thing to do. You host the show, and then you're just kind of there in the beginning, middle, end, whatever, and it feels you float. You don't have to try and do better than the last guy.
Are you competitive?
No, and I used to be, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if I got married.
But were you competitive with other comedians?
No. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say no. I think a little bit. I think everybody is. I don't know how you couldn't be somewhat. But I've learned to try and put everybody else out of my mind, because if you start thinking about how somebody else is doing, then it just ruins your life. Like you could sit there, and I could sit there and go, so Jimmy Fallon, same age as me, started comedy about the same time. He might have started a little bit earlier. If I try to compare myself to Jimmy Fallon and what he's doing on a Tonight Show, you just can't do it. And sometimes you need a break. He went through Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live is I'm at Mad TV. when I had the opportunity to try and go toward Saturday Night Live, the president of NBC at the time said, "Do you want me to put you on Saturday Night Live?" And my response was, "It's an option." Instead of saying yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, no. See, because you don't want to show all your cards. Of course I would have loved to do it. But they had Daryl Hammond there, and Fallon was just starting. So I knew I'd be sitting on the bench. Do I really want to go do that? No. So I was able to go start on Mad TV right away. And I didn't have any sketch performance or sketch experience. So you go there, and you could really just tank. So I didn't know. I took a little bit of the easier route. Do I wish I could have done that differently? I don't know. Because Mad TV got me on the NFL on Fox, and I was doing stuff with Jimmy Kimmel, who was at Fox at the time, and that helped me do what I was going to, eventually do anyways. I still remember the best was barbecuing over at Kimmel's house, and he opens up the grill. He goes, "Hey, wait, what are you doing, Mr. Madden? Barbecue?" I'm like, "Hey, yeah, Jimmy, a little thing I picked up in Kansas City, mustard rub short ribs." I open up the grill and Emmanuel Lewis popped out. And I heard the story was Madden's watching it and it's like, "What, I'm a cannibal now? What is this?" And then we went running to the Yakety Sax music. And I go behind a wall and all of a sudden Webster tackles me. So, I'm real. Again, if you look at things and how they could have gone a different way, you're never going to make yourself happy. I mean, I just try to look and go forward.
But it's different with like comedians for the most part. What is it? Misery Loves Comedy. There's a documentary. But you're not a miserable person.
I don't think I have different parts of my life though, because I have my kids and my wife and that part of life, and then stand up and then sketch. And people are always like, too, like they're saying, "Well, you should try and do more acting and TV shows and stuff like that." I'm happy doing what I'm doing over at ESPN. I really like it. And what's great about there is they don't try to have me do 20 weeks in a row. That's the hardest thing in the world. I was talking to Riggle about it, and he's at Fox now, and I'm like, it's just hard. You go 1 week and you have one that you're really happy with.
It should be quarterly. It should not be.
And I always fight. I shouldn't say fight with ESPN about it, but I'm like, you don't want me on anymore. You want me, because especially one, it's a sports network, and that's what people are tuning in for. You put too much comedy that is comedy, and soon you're going to get people going, what's happening to this? This is like MTV. They don't even do music anymore. That's so. I agree with that. I think it's just once in a while. You do a little bit of something, and it works. At ESPN this year, Ari Spears, who's done some sketches with me, is going to do some stuff this year too. I think that'll be pretty cool as well. So, looking forward to that. When you have to do a sketch about football every week, it's the same stories. The same guys are getting in trouble, and at ESPN, it's a lot less about ripping people and more about being silly with the people at ESPN.
Well, you could keep it in-house at Fox with Bradshaw or Kurt Menefee.
You got four guys.
Four
guys to make fun of, and maybe Joe Buck. And at ESPN...
You made fun of Joe Buck?
A little bit, yeah. Troy! Why are you yelling? The first week of the NFL on Fox. I tell him that. He's like, you yell. He's like, no, I don't.
Do you imitate musicians?
Not really, because one of the things I always found that with a musician, the only thing you'd end up doing is rhyming in the song. So I always felt like there wasn't... I guess there's people like you could do a Gene Simmons or something. I've heard people do that kind of thing. But then to me...
Like Eminem?
Yeah, I guess. I never really felt the... I think there were also people who could do it better than me, so I really didn't...
Well, Fallon does it.
Yeah, he's very good.
Fallon's very good at that.
Yeah.
Before the break, we were talking about when you were there at Fox, and I was always trying to figure out when you would do your segment, and then they'd come back and, they'd have Bradshaw, or you'd make fun of Menefee, or whoever it would be, just to see if they really were bothered by what you just did on national TV.
I think some.
Terry seemed like he could be... He would give you that acknowledgement.
Depends if I took my medicine or not. If I took my medicine, there's a good chance you were good. Fine. If I didn't take the little pill, you never know what's going to happen.
When did you think, okay, this could escalate a little bit?
Well, at the beginning, I think they didn't like me right away because they came off of Kimmel, and Kimmel was just really needling them hard, and they always would tell Terry and the guys it's like wrestling. It's all fake, So it's fake. So when it's punching me, it's not actually punching me. All right, let's try it.
So they had to tell Terry that Kimmel didn't
Terry's
really
not as dumb as he comes up, but there are times where he's a little dense. But he's not. Some of that's character, and some of it does bleed into the real world. But we always had basically a rule that if you had one good joke on each guy, that would fly during the week. If you tried a second joke, it better be a great joke.
So otherwise, that'd be piling on.
Just felt like you were doing too much. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It felt like you were just trying to do too much and you didn't have anything. And usually that's why you had the second joke about the guy, because you didn't have anything. There's a reality of that.
But if you were worried about any of those guys, if somebody's going to get angry at you, were you more worried about Howie or Terry?
Honestly, I don't know. It was probably pretty equal. Other than Jimmy Johnson just didn't care. Jimmy, I didn't watch. That's what it would be. He just flat out tell you, I don't watch, Frank. Football. That's Terry's like, why did you do that thing about me being bald? We do that every week. I know, but I forget sometimes. Howie would give me ideas. He'd be like, why don't you be at a Blockbuster Video handing out old videotapes of me, Firestorm? I was actually, that's a pretty good idea. And I'm like, you want to do it? I don't have time. No, but he offered to do. Howie would offer to be instead. I think Howie just was so glad I wasn't Kimmel. I think that was what it was, because Jimmy would just needle them, and they were. I would be very careful. At ESPN, I thought there was going to be a lot more of that. I don't know how Gruden took me initially, and I may have told you this before, but when I met Gruden, he's like, "So you're the guy who does me, huh?" He's like, "Where are you from?" And I looked it up where he was from. I'm like, Sandusky, Ohio. He's like, really? I'm like, no. He's like, good, because you were blowing my mind, man. He's just so much fun he is so much fun to watch. I'll tell you what, man. Right now, I can see right through you, Dan Patrick. I can actually see that football helmet right behind you, man.
But Berman didn't have a problem?
Well, it's... For me, it's not even Chris Berman anymore.
You don't use words.
Maybe. You've seen Beaker on the Muppet Show? Yes. Welcome to Muppet Labs, where the future's being made today. Welcome, my assistant Berman. I'm sorry you're on fire.
But Chris would tell you had a sense of humor, but you wonder if he has that sense of humor because you're mocking him.
Yeah, I think people are always weirded out by it the first time, and I don't know if it's a dirty little secret. I'm sure you know this, maybe even talked about it. Everybody at ESPN has a Chris Berman. I like it when they're not even like the real person. Like people get on me like, that doesn't sound like Chris Berman. I don't care anymore. I just want It's a cartoon. It's like Dana Carvey doing it at that point. That's what makes me laugh. I used to get so tired of doing the John Madden, talking like John Madden.
That guy who talks like this, and you look at it, Dan, and you hear the things that you want to hear.
If to me it was more fun to be like he was some kind of claymation character that couldn't form words.
How concerned are you, though, when you look at people you imitate and the age of those people that you're imitating? That to keep your act relevant, to have millennials be excited about it as well.
Well, you know what, my audience has gotten actually younger since I went over to ESPN, which is interesting because they show it a lot of different times. If something's good, they're going to use it on 6 sports centers and throw it in a NFL Live or something like that. So that actually is very helpful. And the characters there are much more diverse as well. You get, whether it's Stephen A. Smith, I'm incredulous to this entire situation. Mr. Caliendo, I understand where you're coming from with some of this stuff, but do me a favor, cordially and ineptly, stop doing what you're doing.
That's very good, Frank.
He's one of my favorites.
That's very good.
Jaworski.
Let me ask you about Kobe Bryant's future, Stephen A.
I have to believe that Kobe Bryant has played his best days that he will and will not endure some of the sacrifices that he has henceforth and twofold.
Like, you don't even know if he's like just finding words.
Yeah.
He's got a Rolodex.
How about Ron Jaworski on Manziel?
I've watched 192 billion hours of videotape on Johnny Manziel, and watching him last night, the footwork was spectacular. The arm strength a little bit better than average. But let me tell you this, after watching him for a quarter and a half, I truly believe Johnny Manziel could be one of the top 150,000 quarterbacks ever.
And Jaws will actually text me like, I watched 192 hours of video. That's when the guys do that stuff, that's great. I'm actually going to be with Gruden and Tirico doing something this week, and I can't wait. Because every time, Gruden doesn't know how to, when we're on camera together, he doesn't know what he's supposed to do. Am I supposed to be angry with you, or am I supposed to be enjoying this right now? I'm not really sure, man. I heard you on Dan Patrick. What were you talking about, man? You're talking about me doing video games, man? What was that all about?
Could you call Mike Tirico in Gruden's voice? And would you be able to fool him?
Maybe at the very beginning, but as soon as I'm sure, I think it's pretty close. And on the phone, it makes it even better. But I think he'd pick up on it. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
So I'll play the role of Mike Tirico. Hey, hello.
Hey, Mike, it's me, John. What are you doing, man?
Hey, Coach. Good to talk to you. What's up?
Well, I just wondered, are you preparing for golf or something right now? You got so many jobs. What are you doing? You getting ready for the NBA Finals right now, man? That's what you're all about, isn't it? Hey, I'm Mike Tirico. I never stop working, man. I tell you what, I love listening to you jibber jabber about the NBA Finals in between golf matches. We do Monday Night Football, man. You realize what I do? I sit around all day watching videotape. I don't watch YouTube. I watch Betamax videotape.
VHS.
On a Philips black and white TV that I turn the channels with a pair of pliers, man. I tell you what, that's how my dad did it. That's how my great-great-grandpa did it, who wasn't even around football yet. It was just happening in his head, and he happened to have a television from the future because he built the flux capacitor, man.
But, okay, you do Bill Cosby.
I did.
You don't?
No,
is that retired?
I mean, I try to stay employed right now. So if I were,
okay.
I mean, there are a lot of jokes I could probably do, but that's a touchy subject as well. I mean,
Robin Williams, you do?
People always want me to do that at shows too. They'll yell at Robin Williams and I go, okay, and that's it. I mean, I just feel weird about it. I don't know. I really try to stay away from those, especially for an amount of time where I feel like Robin Williams didn't just die; he took his own life.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little tougher.
Did I bring the interview to a crashing halt?
No, I like it. I
okay.
like it. We could always do an Adam Sandler. Hey, I got another movie role for you, Dan. I want you to play a veterinarian with a mustache who only wears jean shorts. Can you be here in an hour?
Do you root for other comedians?
By the way, with jean shorts, you hold hamsters in your pockets. And then you pet them while you pet your mustache. It's going to be a great one. You'll be here in an hour. Where's Fritzy? Fritzy! Is Fritz still making faces while he's looking at what callers are on the line?
I was watching that before.
Are you doing
Fritz,
the Fritzy hands?
No, that's the Adam Sandler.
Sandler hands.
I was watching Fritz earlier, and him looking at whatever he's looking at on his screen, which I've got to believe was R-rated or less.
Yes.
He just had this look on his face like, he just kept doing. I was waiting for him to break into Gruden. I'll tell you what, man, this texter right here, this guy's got some tremendous insight on Orenthal James, man. I'll tell you what, you're right. He should have been in that list right there. You know what that list looked like, Dan? That list looked like Frank Caliendo and his son took ultimate Madden cards and picked a college football team. I'll tell you what, I'd stay away from that list, man.
He's Frank Caliendo coming to a city near you. He'll be in Ridgefield tonight, Ridgefield, Connecticut. That's sold out. So
that's good.
You don't need to plug that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to New Hampshire, Hampton Beach.
Casino Ballroom.
Yeah. Vegas, Charlotte, Atlanta. Go to Frank on Stage
There's some Denver area shows too. I just remember that too.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
All right. Do you want to? Who do you want to be taking us to break here?
We'll go Morgan Freeman out, right?
You can do that, or
Yes.
do
Or do whoever you really wanted me to do, even though you didn't say it and telepathically thought I would do it. Jim Rome?
who do we want Frank to be? Going to break here. Guys.
We love Romy.
All right. You want to go Rome to break here?
So far, this show has been okay, but once I get on, it becomes better. The 75th anniversary college list was ridiculous. Dear Jim, what was up with that list? Signed, American Idol. Just trying to throw it in.
That's with two-a-days. I will always love you. I heard Barkley do karaoke. What's the greatest thing in the world? Because it's Thriller night. Those zombies gonna eat you. Hit them with a baseball bat. All right.
Thank you, Frank.
Out.